just gonna check everything before I get started here. Dun, dun, dun. Hold on 1 second here. I'll wait for a couple minutes because I just threw this on everybody because I had the opportunity and the time to do it. And I told everybody, oh, I'm going to be on more. No, that didn't happen. So, I guess the conversations are going to be all over the place. So, we're going to see what happens. Let's see now. Just going in here real quick. Okay. I have to look down and pay attention to your comments because when they pop up on here, it just frustrates me. When they're on here, a little more easier to handle. Okay. So I had to do some drawings. There's a lot of stuff going on that has nothing to do what's going on here a little bit, but I'm ignoring all the drama and all the controlling behaviors and trying to make you pick groups and decide that that's the right group and not group. So now I'm trying just to get you to do everything yourself and don't worry about what everybody else is doing. Just do it for yourself. That's where I'm at, because we don't have any more time to waste. And I'm saying that in a way of they're saying that. So I did do a video with the Star Traveler. We did talk about Enki. And so my voice is clear on what I think he is, and their voice is clear on what they think he is. So he is not one to be trusted. And if someone is telling you to trust it, I would be questioning everything they say. Because we, in this age and time, are not about controlling beings anymore. We're about releasing them and letting them make their own choice. Okay? So, we'll be doing some other videos on some other subjects. But the channeling thing is just spontaneous and letting it come. So, now that that's put out there, and so if anybody wants to challenge my information on that, I don't mind doing a channeling process of doing that. I have no problem trusting what they're saying. So, and I've been working a lot and trying to catch up. It's been a crazy week. So let's talk about the visions I've been getting lately that they've been focused on, that they told me 3-4 months ago. I told you guys to keep an eye on the ice. Keep an eye on that has to come down to a certain percentage because things have to surface up. Well, that's where the stage that we're at on things. Things cannot move on until certain things surface. And so you're seeing water everywhere. Well, don't be afraid, because everything has to surface. It's for the good. Don't let them tell you otherwise either. So I drew, it was really funny because when we were doing the Enki show, we just sometimes it divides my mind on 2 different remote viewings, and they're like, since we're bringing up this subject, how about we show you one of these ships and how they're gonna come up on the surface. So I got the interpretation of that, so I drew them. And don't think that any of these are just a round circle looking ship like you would have saw 150 years ago. They don't look like that. But this is, when you look at this, you're going to go, I don't understand, you know. So because you don't see these type of ships around, and then no one on Google draws them or puts them out or prints what ships look like. You know, I don't do that. I get it from downloading and then trying to transfer it into an image, and that's what I do, which I think people should be doing instead of getting it off Google, just because it's honest. So I'm going to show you this one, and we're going to go over this one first. So now, sorry, I have it turned around. So this is, you know, the water, the ice, and then these are the mountains. So this looks like a small world, and then it comes right out of the water. And these are all levels. You know, I'm talking like a big world, like a whole city that you would contain in this. And it rises up on its own energy and how things come in and out of it. So just massive. And then how it just arrives out of the water and surfaces itself. It's been down there a long, 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 long time. And they're self-containing, but they're, it's like beings that know that it's way down in that surface of how far it goes down into the planet, and like a home port of where it's at. So these can move, just like our planet, and self-contain itself, you know, within everything, but use different energy, just like Atlantis did. So that's one of them that's down there, and they're saying that this is one that's going to come to the surface. So, you know, when you're looking in the skies, like I've told you, stop trying to think just a circle around. They look a lot different. I'm going to show you another one. And I think I had one of my good friends, after I put this on there in my signal group, she's like, here's one, you know. So don't put it in your mind that they're only shaped in one condition. They look like, you know, one half of a shape. They don't. So and pay attention in the sky when you see lights go around, you know, they would have a certain frequency of lights, then you would have some levels, and there's this one beam light that comes out. So when you're looking at this in the dark, you know, you're not going to attach it, you know. In the daytime you would be able to, or if you had the right cameras. So they're saying this is one that will appear, and this will go up first and then it'll come back down. So these are going to resurface out of the ground from Antarctica area and all that stuff. So they're showing there's many down there, and like as they're saying, as things start to melt, things start to shift, the ground, you know, like we're on the surface, and this, what's been down below, is going to come to the surface, and it's going to be as one again. Okay? So as we discover that and understand that everything will surface, history, everything's flooding because everything needs to be brought up to the surface. So everything's done. And so we get that part done once the planet's like, okay, we got that annihilated and fixed to a balance point again. So then you have to understand that I believe the top of the earth is flat. I believe there's a dome above, and I believe there's like a half earth underneath us that they've shown me. Spirit has shown me, not man. I don't trust what man has to say. I trust what Spirit has to say because they're accurate. So, and they've always showed me a tree at the bottom. At the very bottom, there's a tree, a flourish tree. So they're showing me that too. So that's going to surface. And they've always showed me, and I asked about Mars. I go, where's Mars? And they're like, it's to the left of you, Jen. We've been taught, look above, look out in space, and they're like, there's water above the whole dome there. And that, it didn't feel, because you talk to people that have been on Mars and talk about it, it just didn't feel far to me, when I felt that energy. And so you have these ice capsules that are going to disappear in a fast way, a very fast way, and you will see other islands, I'll call them, that you didn't know about. They're going to surface, and that stuff being hidden for a long time. Now we're going back to revealing that. As they were saying, what's that saying? As above, so is below. So is below. So bring it on. So anyway, and it's a hard concept to understand that could happen. But if you go back to your original maps from long time ago, and you do some research on that, you're going to look at this and say, this isn't making sense. And we all know that NASA is a big lying system. So it's not good. So let's go with another subject that I talked about for another prediction that I told you about too. Is the cities in the blue states are going to be tested with new technology. And that's why you're seeing those departments, police departments, backing off from a zone. There'll be a testing area to try new technology that small drones, and I'm not going to say what's in certain types of those drones and how the size of them, because I don't want to give that away. But there's no need, when we get to a certain point, that we have the technology, that we need to send human beings in there to handle the situation anymore, when we have the technology to do it and no one gets harmed. So Chicago, you are going to be the first one when they start this. And they might think it's going to be a free-for-all, but trust me, it's going to seize pretty fast. So, and all you're going to see is people laying in the streets. You don't know why they're there. They're committing the crime, but you'll soon figure that out. So, so as I told you, putting a fence around those cities, there's access to go in, filtering the people out, and then this is what I need you guys to understand. I know because you can't see it, that there's nothing there, but everything is being recorded. Everything is being seen by a pinpoint, okay? All over. They see it all. And so crime is going to cease to a certain point because you won't be able to get away with it anymore. You won't be able to get away with it. So you got to think of the suppressed technology, and now it's coming in. So just imagine that. And everybody's afraid, like, oh, there are big brothers watching everything. But I'd rather have Big Brother watch everything versus what's going on. I'll take the security over being safe. And take the security of having that type of technology over not my family being safe, or not me feeling safe, or not having anything. Because let me tell you, those cities have let everything get ruined. It's done nothing. Just bringing it down. And I think part of that is bringing those cities down, because we are going to do advanced buildings that are different too. They don't look like what they are now. They're going to be more of a situation where nature and humans coincide together, and it works in a way where one does not exterminate the other. It's about time. Okay, that part's over. I'm going to show you that other space. Now, ship. This is remote viewing, so I'm looking at this other one from a side view. Okay, the other one was me seeing it way up. Now this is a side view of the way it looks from the side. So these are big. And I didn't even go into detail because these have a material that you push in and it moves. Titanium, it looks like a titanium, but silver, and it moves and it flows with it. There's an aqua green out on the outside of it, and they can mirror into any environment. So that's what they look like. So they show. I'm not completely done with it. I have a lot of details to go into, but it's just a shape that I'm starting with. So the thing is I think wrapping around the conscious of how big they are. You know, that's probably the third ship they've showed me. You guys understand I don't channel aliens or anything like that. Just so you know this, I'm not getting that from them, because there's no reason to have to do that anyway. But I am getting it from the source that I've always gotten everything else from. So it's just a description from them. So then I want to talk about our bodies, and I want you guys to remember this. And because I pay attention to what's happening in mine, and I notice other people are commenting on the same thing. So our bodies, you know, are being upgraded. Noticing the pain is going way faster. Healing process, scarring's changing. Our downtime is changing. So that healing process is changing. And face, skin, the way you're eating, the desire of eating those processed foods are just freaking gone. It's like, I don't even want to touch it. It's just like gross. So I'm just saying that your body's acknowledging change. Nature's acknowledging change. I mean, literally, I feel like I ate a burger 2 weeks ago, and I'm like, I can't even taste this. I'm like, there's no taste to it. Like, and it's just because it's not this thing that has control over me to desire it anymore. I'm just like, I don't care. I'm just doing it to doing it. You know, eating it because I have to. But if I could find a way just to liquidize food, I'm gonna do it. So I'm just saying. I mean, watermelon probably the only thing that I say that's really enjoyable, but everything else to me is like, not really. So it's not a desire, it's not something in control of me. And that's the thing too, if you think about it. Now this is a process if you're trying to get over alcohol and medication and stuff like that. That too, as I'm hearing from people, is starting to numb down too. And that's part of that process that needs to happen. Because, like I said, you can't get on those ships wherever they decide to take you in the vessel of the flesh for a while, but then it's going to change. And you can't take your beer, and you can't take your wine, and you can't take, you know, all these flesh needs, and you can't take your hot car. They're like, sorry, no. None of that matters. None of that exists. We don't need that. Those are flesh needs we do not need. So you gotta have to get to that concept of understanding we don't need it. All you need to go into this 4D process is what you're happy with in the soul. The soul in 4D searches for energy and is satisfied and balanced and works in a community of sharing. And the reason why you're thinking on your own that that's all you need is because that's what that program was in 3D. But now we're at a process we don't need that. We do work in a circle of community, taking care of each other, being content. There's a balance with that. So that's coming. So going into your own oneness with Creator, don't need anybody. You can do it on your own. No one is holding you back. Furries, yeah, they're yeah, it's great. Love them. They're already ahead of the game. They're ahead of the game. They're ahead of understanding what's going on. So it's a great process. So everything it's an upgrade. Nature's already, you know, into that involvement of that upgrade. I think we're going to go into fall in a different way. You're going to see different ways that nature's reacting to this new energy. And I don't feel it's going to be like such a tragic way, but you're going to see some phenomenal permanent colors, frequencies, energies, just to know that it's in a change. And they keep saying two lights in the sky, you're going to see it, and it's just showing me consistently. So that's going to happen too. So those are things. I'm just going through everything. Okay, so I covered most of that. So what I would tell you is 3D concept right now. Don't pay attention to this big event that's happening overseas. It doesn't need attention. All it is a big arrest process of rounding them up all together. So that's a good thing. So that's just a process that needs to happen. And then we can get to some process of different types of healing. And, you know, it's just everybody wants dates. And it's just like, it's not like that. It's about finishing something, completing it, and moving on. Like I said, these are not apps. You get on the app and you want it over and done with. It's not the way it works. So I can tell you, military worldwide is in charge, and that's where you're going to hear everything from. So just allow yourself to process the information. But, you know, once they start to see it, don't force it onto someone else, because each person has a different veil of understanding of how it works. That's weird. I don't know. Sorry, I got something on my screen and I'm like, what is that? So anyway, with that too, and then so everybody wants dates, and I'm just going to tell you from like today for the next 2 weeks, a lot of energy shifting, a lot of things are happening. It's not something you're going to be able to hold your breath and then it's going to sit back for another 3 days. It's just going to consistently come at you. And I tell you to step behind the plated glass and look at it different. Don't get in fear. Don't get into the program. This is something you need to witness, because your ancestors would have loved to see this. And the benefits from their blood, sweat, and tears, you will benefit from. And so the puppet show gets worse, because the veil of understanding, people are not understanding, and I don't think they're gonna. So I just think the mask needs to be ripped off the face in front of the whole public. Soon, I hope. So I'm seeing a calmness more with people, and of understanding. Before, in the past, it was chaotic, but you guys are starting to really get it. And that's good, because that's where we need you. Because when you start to go into a new world, you know, they're all one in them, in line together, ready for this new process. Those ones that are ahead of the game are going to be the ones that are teaching the ones behind them. So it's not who has leverage or who doesn't, or who has more knowledge or not. It's like, let's do this, let's get through a certain process, and then the ones behind this, you pull them up and you get them there. But don't force it on them. So, and I am I always tell you, you know how to contact me. You know how, if you want to purchase a reading about everything that's going on, all that stuff, I will tell you, go to your bank and pull at least $500 out. You're going to need that, because there's going to be people there and they don't figure out what's going on, and then trying to get in there and they can't get cash. So I'm just telling you, you're going to have that freak out stage. So, you know, there's a lot of difficult things going on, but really calm yourself and distance yourself from the situation and just look at it from a different view, because it's too much sometimes. And if you overly process and you got all these different opinions, that titles and what they are and how they are changes daily, it's just there to confuse you. Remember, spirit is consistent on what it's doing. It doesn't change. It gets to that goal and then decides from that goal what needs to change from that goal when it's completed. It doesn't change the narrative right in the middle of it. And like they said, you know, they're not worried about pushing agenda for people to buy cups and t-shirts and go to events right now. I will tell you this, and I did tell you in the Signal group, all these events that are not happening right now, concerts, everything like that, you know, the one thing could stop that: money. Money. Process of that money is not going in that direction anymore. The funding is not there. So that is why it's getting canceled. Not for any other reason. So sit back, calm, you know, go outside, connect with animals, connect with nature. Fall is here. Love fall. And then I will bring up another thing. Now, I did tell you guys that things are going to start to dysfunction, and that things, you're going to see it on TV, and it's not going to look the same. And I said that 4 months ago. That was the spirit. And you're seeing it, you know, it is like a video game, you know, and the nose looks stronger and falls down, and the components are falling apart in front of you. They're master above, the ones that has the attachment, those no longer has the attachment. There's no facility to go get fixed anymore. You're gonna smell rotten lettuce soon. I'm just saying, it's not good when something is dismantled. Smell, communication, dysfunction. Watch it, because there's different versions of it. Don't try to put one together, because there's many out there. You will realize that there is not that many humans here by the time you're done. So however they fall, they will fall. And how you don't have to worry about that process, because it's not your job to clean it up. They have that in control. So I just want to come on here and post some information, and you guys know how to contact me to relay this information. And if you need me, you know where I am and how to locate me. So stay in the light, and don't worry, the shepherd has us. Good night, guys. Sorry, on my iPad here. Doesn't even love this when you do this.